For generations, the shared marital bed has stood as the ultimate symbol of romantic unity. It serves as the physical proof of a lifelong commitment. So, when a couple decides they would rather sleep in separate rooms, the outside world tends to jump to conclusions. Friends whisper, and society assumes the relationship is on a fast track to actual divorce. But sleep scientists and psychologists are pushing back against that assumption. They view the choice to sleep apart, often called a sleep divorce, as a highly practical agreement. It is a way to prioritize healthy rest over an outdated social expectation. Longevity in a modern partnership depends on viewing sleep as a shared biological requirement, one that shouldn't be traded away for the sake of physical proximity. The reality is that sharing a mattress isn't always peaceful. When the bedroom transforms into a source of chronic exhaustion, resentment quickly follows. The most common culprits driving couples apart are purely physiological. One partner might deal with violent, restless tossing and turning, while the other produces room-shaking chronic snoring. This diagram outlines another frequent issue: circadian mismatches. This biological clash occurs when a natural night owl shares a bed with an early bird. Their internal clocks simply do not align, virtually guaranteeing they will wake each other up during these key disruption zones. Environmental conflicts also play a major role. One person might need the room freezing cold with a fan running, while the other prefers heavy blankets and absolute darkness. Naming these tangible physical disturbances shifts the dynamic. It allows a couple to stop viewing exhaustion as a personal failure and start treating it as a technical problem to be solved together. Staying in the same bed despite these disruptions carries a severe, invisible cost. Chronic sleep loss breaks down cognitive function and emotional intelligence. Researchers tracked couples over a 14-day period for the journal Social, Psychological, and Personality Science. Their findings showed a direct correlation between nights of poor sleep and days filled with emotional conflict. Exhaustion entirely destroys our capacity for empathy. During a disagreement, a sleep-deprived brain literally lacks the cognitive bandwidth to understand or validate a partner's point of view. Dr. Stephanie Collier from Harvard Health links this chronic deprivation directly to anxiety, cognitive decline, and extreme irritability. Without rest, minor annoyances easily escalate into major fights. Sacrificing sleep just to maintain physical proximity drains the exact cognitive reserves required to be a supportive, loving, and functional partner during waking hours. This creates a biological paradox for couples. Do human bodies naturally rest better alone, or do our brains neurologically benefit from having a partner nearby? Data from Frontiers in Psychiatry shows co-sleeping provides a 10% increase in REM sleep. Partners' sleep stages also synchronize over time. But the same study documented a massive drawback, a significant increase in physical limb movements and nocturnal disturbances. For many individuals, a partner's physical kicks and shifts completely override the psychological comfort of their proximity. When that physical interference takes over, finding a new sleep arrangement becomes biologically necessary. If you decide to try sleeping apart, marriage therapist Lauren Petra recommends a simple diagnostic framework. How do you know if the extra bedroom is a cure for bad sleep or a fortress used to avoid your partner? A healthy arrangement reveals itself in the daytime aftermath. If daytime irritability drops, while emotional and physical intimacy remain highly present during waking hours, the separation was a success. However, if that second room becomes a convenient way to escape difficult conversations or avoid physical connection entirely, the lack of sleep wasn't the primary issue. The relationship itself is failing. Success also depends heavily on how the idea is proposed. Presenting the move by focusing on a health barrier, like saying, "I cannot sleep through the snoring," is very different from the personal rejection of "I don't want to sleep next to you." There is also a firm medical caveat. Dr. Collier notes that symptoms like chronic snoring require a clinical evaluation for conditions like sleep apnea, rather than just retreating to a separate mattress. The motive behind the move dictates whether the second bedroom acts as a medical recovery zone or a terminal exit from the relationship. Reclaiming your rest also does not require an all-or-nothing choice. There are intermediate physical compromises that honor both partners' comfort levels. Many couples adopt the Scandinavian method of using two separate blankets on a single bed to eliminate temperature battles. Others rely on a classic approach, keeping two separate twin beds inside a single shared bedroom. Whatever the setup, experts emphasize the behavioral need for intentional intimacy. Because you are no longer relying on a shared bed to automatically force you together, you have to actively engineer your connection. Couples sleeping apart often engineer dedicated rituals to bridge the gap. This might mean setting aside pre-sleep cuddle time in one bed, sharing a sunlit morning routine in the kitchen, or leaving handwritten daily notes on a nightstand. Choosing to sleep apart prioritizes the rest required to bring your best, most empathetic self to the waking hours of the relationship.